Hey everyone, welcome into the Voice of College Football, GBR. We've got a halftime score of Colorado 13 and Nebraska nothing. And if you've been watching the game, you know how ugly it's been for everything but the Nebraska defense. The Nebraska defense has been solid, strong in this game, did give up a touchdown. However, that was after a Jeff Sims mistake, one of many. So let's look at the Huskers' mistakes all in all. I've got to wonder whether Scott Frost is lurking on the sideline. And if he's not, is he somewhere in the stadium? And if not, and I will say the same thing about last week's game at Minnesota, despite coming that close to winning the ball game, leading by a touchdown with 2 minutes left in the game, and tied until the final play of the game, of course, at a difficult place to play against a decent team in Minnesota. Now, this week, is Frost in the stadium? Is he on the sideline? I guess even if he's in the state of Nebraska or anywhere in the continental United States, there should be a move by Husker fans to get him removed in some way. Just kidding, of course. Okay, so the miscues are many, and they're ridiculous at this point because we've got two first-year head coaches here, and Matt Rule's team does have one of the top 5 most personnel changes in college football, like 57 personnel changes between incoming transfers and the recruiting class of 2023. Deion Sanders, 68 transfer portal players, 20 at last count, true freshmen from the 2023 class. So 88 new players for Deion Sanders and for Colorado coming off that remarkable win at TCU last week, where they did it with offense. This week, they're doing it with a bunch of gifts from Nebraska and defense. All right. Jeff Sims has dropped 2 snaps. Now, we see quarterbacks on a regular basis because they're such gifted athletes and handlers of the ball. How many times do you see during a college football game? We'll leave the NFL alone because we see it a ton in the NFL. But just in college football, that the quarterbacks are so good at handling the football. There are snaps over here. There's snaps down here. They field them like a shortstop. They handle snaps with one hand off to the side all the time. Jeff Sims has mishandled 2 perfect snaps. Then he called for the one snap early, hit the motion man. Another fumble, another miscue, fortunately picked up by the motion man on that play. One miscue, not Jeff Sims related, of course, was the would-be field goal that hit the crossbar, bounced the right way for the Huskers, but not quite well enough to get it through the uprights. And so Nebraska shut out at halftime, missing that field goal. Look at what Jeff Sims did on a 3rd and 17 play in which he scrambled and he went out of bounds with 58 seconds left. That would have forced Colorado to burn a timeout or would have run more time off the clock before punting. But Jeff Sims ran the ball out of bounds. So when you can't make a play and have proven incapable of making a play, and I think Matt Rule was actually being a bit risky by allowing Jeff Sims to throw from the pocket. Not that I wouldn't have attacked down 10-0 at that point, or 10-0 at that point. But I just think they need to get much more creative on offense. But again, just highlighting another mistake by Jeff Sims running the ball out of bounds on 3rd and 17, not anywhere close to the sticks, had to stay in bounds to run the clock and make it more difficult for the Buffs to come down and score, in which they, of course, did. He threw that horrendous pick that was underthrown, was not near the sideline, was late. More than anything, it was late and telegraphed. So think about this. He rolls right and he stares down the receiver. He throws it late. He didn't throw it out in front toward the sideline. He did everything conceivable wrong in that interception. That, of course, set up the Colorado touchdown. The defense is going to bust at some point, folks. The defense is going to bust, and of course it did, with Shadur Sanders throwing the touchdown on the next play to a wide open player. Didn't see the replay on that play. I saw it live. I've been watching every play, but I did not see a replay to see what the issue with the Nebraska coverage. But again, not a concern there because the Huskers have played a game and a half of strong defense. How about that? After the Scott Frost era of a lot of bad defense, the Huskers playing good on defense. So let's credit the Husker defense there. And let's credit Matt Rule for making some adjustments and building this team on one side of the football at this point. And we don't even know about much of the offensive side of the football because when your quarterback sabotages plays, we don't know what would have happened. The offensive line has done a decent job. He has had to deal with a pass rush at times, certainly. So my second half game plan for Nebraska, and you can leave your comments and questions if you've got suggestions and ideas for the second half and how to somehow pull this game out down 13-0. So it's not bad enough that Nebraska has made all these mistakes, but to be down on the road, needing to come back when they have shown zero ability through a game and a half of football to come back. This is what I'm looking at. Okay. If either Chubba Purdy or Harburg, would have proven to be capable backups during August camp, then you make the move. Sims is not a good quarterback. He's been a better than this quarterback at Georgia Tech, but still not a good quarterback. And I think you go to Harburg or Purdy, depending on what they've shown in August. I don't know that. We don't know that. So that's up to the head coach, of course, to make that determination. Do I have a capable backup? And if he did, Matt Rule had that option, I believe we would have seen him near the end of the second. After that horrible pick, I think we would have seen the backup quarterback, either one of those two. All right. And we didn't see either one. So I'm thinking neither one of them is ready. Okay. So this is what you do. You go, I know you're down 13-0, but don't panic. Plenty of time, plenty of possessions. Run heavy. Okay. Can't be one-dimensional. You throw a lot of safe passes that are predetermined. Scrap the drop back passing game. No more drop backs in the pocket. No more decisions to be made. Everything is, if you throw the ball, everything is basically behind or just over the line of scrimmage. Slip screens, run those. You see this all the time now. The last few years, it's been a staple among a lot of passing offenses where they're running tight ends and backs behind the line of scrimmage, slip them out. Stuff that Jeff Sims doesn't have to think about. He does not have to think about his progressions, his reads, none of that. He can't be fooled by coverages. Just, get the ball out of his hand. Just everything's going to be a dump off pass, going to be a screen, going to be something of that mode. Nothing drop back, no decisions to be made. Otherwise, I know that Colorado has played much better against the run this week than they did against TCU, certainly. And Nebraska was decent in the run game against Minnesota, a much more stout rush defense than Colorado. But I've not seen one run play designed for Jeff Sims. Not one. Has there been one running play designed for him? This is the strength of his game. I know he talked in the summer about becoming a drop back passer and being known for being a passing quarterback. Well, that's not him, obviously. So he's either going to completely lose his job or he's going to have to adapt, especially in this game, for them to have a chance. What they need to do is they need to do everything I just stated, but also Jeff Sims ran 19 times against Minnesota. Now, I'm guessing he escaped the pocket and ran 4 or 5 times. They probably designed 12 runs for him last week. Nothing this week. Run Jeff Sims. He ran for 91 yards against Minnesota. This is what he can do. So I want to see a ton of Gabe Ervin. I want to see a ton of Jeff Sims running the ball and every other throw predetermined. One option, if he's covered, throw the ball on the ground. If they cover up a screen pass, but all screens, slip screens, traditional screens, dump passes to the running backs in the backfield, all those sorts of things. A lot of motion, easy throws, easy tosses where there's no decision to be made. That's what I would do if I were Marcus Satterfield, who at this rate would probably be in line for receiving the incentive clause in Iowa offensive coordinator Brian Ferentz's contract of scoring 25 points per game. What do you guys have to say? Eddie says, exactly. Sims should be taken out. If they don't have another quarterback, then why are they on scholarship? Good point, especially when we're talking about guys that have been, this isn't their first year on campus. So you could understand maybe, okay, late transfer after spring ball, just got in here in July or August, that sort of thing. Although Joe Burrow pulled that off. But yeah, exactly. So the point is even underlined by these guys being in the program 2-3 years. Bitcoin says if Sims comes out in the second half, this game is over. Mike says it's sickening that he is still in. Bitcoin again about the scholarship quarterbacks. Eddie as well. Well, Mike, I sent out a tweet that this is the worst quarterback play I've seen for a game and a half in quite a while. Not the worst I've ever seen. I've been watching football a long, long time. So not the very worst. Nathan Peterman once, well, that was in an NFL game. So shouldn't make that comparison. Nathan Peterman, the former Pitt quarterback, threw 5 picks and a half in the NFL. But yeah, it's bad. Anyone can hand the ball off, get Sims out. But again, I'm just saying, if you decide to keep him in, that's my game plan. Run him. Yes, Dion, good point. Matt Rule made the statement just a couple of weeks ago that Nebraska can win with their backups. $10 points through 6 quarters. 10 points. And the first drive looked good. He made 2 decent throws. The first throw of the ball game that he made, the offensive line gave him great protection. He waited for the tight end to clear. He was patient. He was like 3rd and 7. He could have thrown it underneath, but would have forced the receiver to have to get about 3 or 4 more yards to get the first down. So he waited, delivered a nice ball in that gap in the zone. And then like his first 3 or 4 throws, definitely his first 2, I was thinking, okay, his head's clear, knows where he's going with the football, looks good. I also, not to dig in anymore, but during the first half, I posted Casey Thompson's statistics, just his career stats, which was 17 touchdowns, 10 picks, 63% last year with Nebraska. And of course, Casey Thompson led the Big 12 in touchdown passes with 24 the year before. I said it when Jeff Sims was acquired. I said, I must be wrong, because I have always considered, not that I've ever been brought to that decision to have that conversation, compare Casey Thompson, the Texas or Nebraska quarterback, with Jeff Sims, the Georgia Tech quarterback. Of course, that never entered my mind to compare those 2 players. But once that transaction was made and Sims was brought in as the transfer, I thought, well, Casey Thompson's a better quarterback than Jeff Sims. I always thought so. And then once Sims won the job that quickly and Thompson transferred that quickly, I thought, well, I must be wrong. Jeff Sims must be ready for a breakout. He must be that good. He must have improved, or Matt Rule has seen something. No, Casey Thompson's a better quarterback than Jeff Sims. I think we all knew it. I certainly knew it, said it a bunch of times. All right, we're ready to play football second half. Hang in there, Husker fans. Folsom Field, Colorado. I know that after not seeing the Buffs for, about 4 or 5 years and losing those back-to-back games at the beginning of Scott Frost's tenure, his first 2 seasons, you wanted some payback. And Nebraska, other than the quarterback position, they would probably be winning this game if they had a capable quarterback. List all the quarterbacks in the Big Ten. Go to number 7, the very mid quarterback in the Big Ten, Hudson Card, whoever that is, put him in the Nebraska lineup. They're probably winning right now 17-6, something like that. The defense has been really good. Feel good about that. I know it's frustrating, and the Huskers will probably be 0-2. But the defense has been strong, and the rest of the offense, I guess they can play. They're not given much of an opportunity at this point. So try to enjoy the second half, and we will see you on Tuesday night. And also join Justin Adams after the game. You can commiserate or celebrate an enormous, amazing comeback in the second half. So Justin Adams is going to be here after the game, and we will see you on Tuesday night for Huskers Live at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Kickoff is bringing us right back to Folsom Field. We'll see you.